Hey everybody, today is Monday, April 8th, and somebody's texting me right now. Okay, so welcome everybody to Monday Night Show, K-Pro Cow Powwow. I should play that song again one of these times, huh? But I make people wait. See how that works? You got to anticipate it. So thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Make a coffee. I think me and K-Pro, well, I have coffee. I'm not sure what K-Pro's drinking, but everybody make some coffee or get a drink of your choice and
Whoa,
join us
is
for
that
an
your
hour.
side?
What? Yeah, it probably is. Hang on. Hey everybody, today
Hold
is.
on.
Hey, you
I
got
am
to mute it.
hearing. Is that on my side?
No, it was my side. We're good.
Okay, I'm still hearing it.
Then it is your side. It's not. I don't hear it. What do you hear? Do you echo?
I am hearing all of us.
So
Delay.
you don't have it muted
Okay.
somewhere.
I'm good now.
That's all right. So hi everybody, I'm Mike. I go by Cowlazars
Wait,
or
now I can't hear you.
Cowlazars.
Hold on.
What are you doing?
Technical
And then as
difficulties.
always,
Hold on.
there's the beautiful, the opinionated, but the not very tech savvy K-Pro. I don't think she heard anything I said. Oh, did you hear me?
Okay, I'm hearing. I'm not tech savvy, but I am hearing an echo. I need some help.
Well, okay. So do you have YouTube up, right?
Okay, Mike,
Everybody
you need to
go
call
get
me
your drink.
because I'm hearing, but I can't hear.
So, oh, okay. Well, yeah, here, I'll call you. All right, everybody, we're going to have K-Pro. So you have it open somewhere. You got to be playing it somewhere. No?
Hold on. I can't hear you if you're...
Yeah, call me. We'll figure it out, everybody. Go get your drink right now, and we're going to get into how did Forrest Fenn hide his treasure chest? All right, I'll be right back, everybody. Talk amongst yourselves. Super chat's on. Maybe we can get some technical help.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm hearing an echo, but if I take it, I muted, and when I mute, I can't hear you at all via Zoom. Down on my control panel. Okay.
All right, we're getting there, everybody. We're getting there.
Sorry.
Like I said, Super Chat's on, and that's because YouTube allows us to do that because we're awesome, because we're Cowlazars and K-Pro. So.
Oh, God. Okay, I can hear you now. My God.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Is it back? Good. All right.
I think so.
Let me go through that intro one more time. Hey, I'm Mike. I'm Cowlazars. And this is Christy. She goes by K-Pro. And what did I say? The always attractive, always opinionated, just not that tech savvy K-Pro. Say hi to everybody.
Oh, my God. Thank you. I think I am very tech savvy. I know how to call the right people, and at work I have the equivalent, and I know how to get the right people on the horn and make miracles happen. So some things happen because I am now not able to get the Zoom up, but I am able to get so, it's okay. You can make fun of me. Most people do, and I don't take it to heart.
So get the Zoom up because we're going to be sharing some things at the end of our little 45 minutes that you might want to see. So the Zoom has to be up because I can see you. Yeah. So anyway, well, I'll just go over real quick what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Clue 3 after the Forrest Fenn part. We're going to talk about Clue 3 for the 2019 coin hunt. If you're on the mailing list, you already got those clues mailed to you about 10 minutes ago. And then somebody emailed me and said, well, if you email them to us, why do we have to watch your show? Well, that's because we may have some hints in the show that aren't going to be in the email. So you might want to get the email early, but you might want to watch the show as well. We got some eBay auctions to talk about. We've got a Las Vegas Meetup that's coming up soon to talk about. And the function and the junction we're going to talk about. But that's going to be, and then we've got a surprise we're going to talk about at the very end.
A big surprise, and I'm surprised that you even teased it because it's pretty awesome. So, but that's all after we talk about content.
Let's jump right into Mr. Forrest Fenn's treasure chest, indulgence, he calls it. And how do we think it's hidden? How did Forrest Fenn hide this 10-inch by 10-inch box? What do you think, K-Pro?
Well, I don't think it's an easy answer because, unfortunately, he has done what I affectionately call Fenn speak when it comes to the answer to this. So I know you probably have spent the day researching. I'm a researcher. So, of course, I have pulled my research hat out and I have pulled different quotes. So we can dive in. This isn't going to just be a 30-second answer. Mm-hmm. I think that there are some. Bill Gorman says, hi, Natasha and Boris. I had to, Bill, I've got to tell you, I actually had to text Mike last night and said, I saw a really cute cartoon thing. I wasn't allowed to watch TV as a kid, so I am trying to get up to date on TVs and movies because Mike kind of likes TVs and movies. I said, "Who the heck is that?" And then he told me, and I went and looked it up. Not watching them, I don't know how I feel about it, but thank you for including us. That's all I'll say.
First thing I thought was, wait a minute, I'm not shorter than K-Pro. But so for those of you who don't know, the Grand Adventure in Facebook is a Facebook group that me and Christy both post to. And Bill Gorman made a cartoon representation of every YouTuber or most of the YouTubers. So me and K-Pro were Natasha and Boris, and there was about 12 of them there, or maybe 10. I'd show it, but I don't want people to get upset. So go check out, go join the Cowlazars Grand Adventure on Facebook, and you can see it yourself. And it's pretty fun.
I'm still trying to figure out if I should be upset because I can tell you the description. It was like,
Natasha.
Oh my goodness! So okay, so now my pseudo name is Natasha. Thank you.
Kind of look Russian. You have that look. I could see it, like a Natasha. You know what I mean? So it's all right. I'll take Boris. I don't care. So let's dive into how is the treasure chest concealed, hidden, buried, if you think it's buried, and what has Forrest actually said. So what I would like to do is kind of like, if you remember Minotaur Marino a couple of months ago, he did a much better job. I don't have a full presentation, but I have pulled, I don't know, a handful of quotes that will help us walk through what we think he may have done. And so I think this actually, there's some, and I know you're in the room, some, so I will not call you out unless you call yourself out, have said this is actually the only piece that I need. I believe I have the right area. I'm down to a few feet, there's some quote, but I need to figure out how it's concealed. And so I think there's a discussion to be had, and it's not as much into, and I'm a little off with the chat. My chat's not up on my screen. And so if I miss anything in chat, just put the ampersand, what am I, Chris Thor? K-Pro Thor? K-Pro, yeah. But I'll moderate it. I'll look for the questions in the chat.
Okay,
yeah,
well, and then Super Chat always shows up.
Illinois Ghost just said, Elmer Fudd, really? That was his cartoon representation.
Well, and I took it, I will tell you, very, very serious. Because I will tell you, Rick is one of the more serious searchers, even though he is a tuber and gets into all that, like some of the social side. I took it, he is a very serious searcher. So that's how I took it. I don't know if Bill meant it that way, but that's what I'm going to say. Okay. So the first quote that I have is from Forrest. It came from 2015. Nobody is going to accidentally stumble on that treasure chest. They're going to have figured out the clues and let the clues take them to the spot. People have been within 200 feet of the treasure and didn't know they were there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't stumble upon it, right?
So does that mean because it's concealed in such a way that you could walk right past it? Or does that mean that the location of the chest is so remote, nobody's going to stumble upon the location itself?
Okay, I'm going to give my opinion, but I would love to hear from the chat room.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I believe that means it is concealed in some way that even if somebody got close to it, now we do have the 12-footer, and we'll talk about that in a second, but if you are close to it, that you won't just be able to say, oh, what is that? Like we have had in our issues with our hunts. We had a coin that was put in a statue, and we think somebody, because they're crawling all over it, they grabbed it, and thank goodness it was a proxy item. I think I don't know what that means. I think what he's saying there is it is concealed in a way that it is not there in plain sight. There was a tuber about a year ago, though, that talked about if you were just walking, and he concealed some things and said, if you were just walking, do you realize you could walk by a lot of things?
Mm-hmm.
So William is saying it's not in foot traffic area. I do agree with that. Right. But if you've ever been to the Yellowstone area, especially, but even in a camping area, people go off the beaten path all the time. I think he's saying by this first quote, and it's just the first one, to say, even if it's off the beaten path a little bit, you're not going to just see it in plain sight. And William, I know you brought this topic up a few times. What do you think? I mean, K-Pro, I think you will need to know exactly where it is, even if you are right next to it. I agree, Illinois Ghost.
But what about he was going to go and die with the chest, and people would find his bones with the chest? I mean, if that was the original game plan, was he just going to be in whatever the area was? But then when he got well and he just decided to hide the chest by itself, now he's concealing the chest in a way that maybe he didn't think of concealing originally.
I have a quote on that. That is a maybe, but let's walk it through the steps. So Bill says it's concealed in a vault in the basement of the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. I thought he said it's not associated with the structure.
He did.
Was that just?
Yeah, I think Bill's being facetious.
I don't know.
Yeah, he said it's not. He said the location of the chest is not associated with any structure. And when somebody asked him to clarify it, he said, "Yes, that's right. Look up the word structure." So that to me that means any man-made thing. And he said it's not in a cave. He said it's not in a mine. So, right?
Okay.
So what's the quote you were referring to that addresses that?
Oh, well, not that yet. I have a whole little process here. Let me just walk this through. So here's the second quote. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have not said that I buried it, and I don't want to reveal that when I can't read my own writing. When I discovered the spot, because that's too. Or when I discovered the spot, that's too much information.
Okay.
It's too much of a clue. So he has basically, I think, been really clear. Some people have said that he said it's buried, and he has said that, but he's retracted it very quickly. My personal opinion is there's 2 reasons he's done that. One, for legal reasons. He doesn't want to say it's buried because on certain types of land, that becomes very important. And the second is, and I have another quote in a little bit, I don't think it's buried. I don't think he would put it under, because how's he going to throw his bones on a buried spot?
And that's my point. Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's buried. I don't think he ever thought of burying it. Now, I hate to say a quote that I just remember somebody saying, but did he say you don't need a tool to find it? Or am I just kind of remembering something that's incorrect?
I don't think he has said it that way. I think what he has said is you don't need
a shovel. I mean, the question is, do you need a shovel to find this?
No,
thing?
he has said gloves and a sandwich. That's all you need, right?
And he's never mentioned a metal detector.
I'm wrong.
And he's never mentioned shovel.
No, he specifically said, and shout out to a couple people in the room, and the right map. I think the right map is becoming more and more, but I think, oh goodness, sorry. My texts are already coming in. And everyone, stop texting me during the show. You need to get into the chat room, and I know you're there. You're just lurking. I have a whole bunch of lurkers. They're like, I just don't want to catch any negative. And it's like, just get in there. And, so I'm not dealing with text until we're done. And yes, I will talk to some people afterwards. No special tools. Exactly. Illinois goes, now the question is, it's like specialized knowledge. What special tools? But he's been clear. A map, a sandwich, the poem,
and a map, right?
And the map. You should already have that. I know.
Special tool. Yeah, there's something there. I don't think it's buried. I mean, I just don't think it's that kind of a treasure hunt. In my opinion, if you have a treasure hunt where you bury something, you tell everybody it's buried. Why is that too big of a clue? He says I didn't want to say because it's too big of a clue. It's too big of a clue because it's not buried. That's why he doesn't want to say it.
Well, let's get into definitions, which he talks about. Let me see if I can find the right quote. I never said it was buried or not, and I'm not getting the exact words because that doesn't matter. Maybe let's look at defining terms. Does hidden mean in plain sight? Right. What is the difference between, quote, buried, entombed, and sepultured?
Right.
I don't know how to pronounce it. So I didn't look up each of those, but that gets exactly to your point.
Right.
So let's say, and there's another quote, and I wasn't able to pull it up. What if all of a sudden some leaves went on it and some dirt because there was a lot of rain? Is it now technically buried and now he's a liar?
Right. And that's what he's saying is it could be
I don't
buried.
think he initially buried it.
Right.
I don't think he initially buried it.
But it is hidden in some way. I don't think he just left it in the middle of a clearing. I do think he hid it and he concealed it in some way. I believe that.
Okay, so it's hidden/concealed. We don't think it's buried. We don't think it's in plain sight. Okay.
Well, what I would really hate is if somebody solved the 9 clues and they're actually at the blaze. What if they still can't find the treasure chest? What if they're looking quickly down?
Whoa,
and because of the way it's concealed, you're like, well, where is it? You know what I mean?
Wait.
So I just said I would hate for that to happen. That's all. I'm not saying that.
No, but I'm having an issue with, you said, what if they gotten through the 9 clues? They're at the blaze and they can't see it. So you're saying the 9th clue for
I
you,
mean,
the blaze?
I think so. Now maybe the last two stanzas tie in, but I think when if you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down. What if when you look quickly down, you're like, well, now what? You're like lost. I would hate for that to be the case, but I mean, it
Wait,
is
so let's just
possible.
throw out stanza 1 and the last two stanzas in your interpretation. Is
No,
that what
I
you're
didn't
saying?
say throw them out. Let's look at the last two stanzas.
Okay, let's let him do that. And I've been ignoring the chat room, so because I'm all
So,
off.
I mean, he says if you are brave and in the wood, what if it's concealed by wood? In other words, maybe a tree. I don't know about a hollowed
How is
out
that
tree
going to
trunk, but
withstand the test of time?
what's? I didn't say it was a tree that's standing. What if it's underneath wood? What if
Okay, and in
Forrest
a
Fenn?
thousand years, is that not going to be dry rot tree
But
that's
that
going to
would look
open?
like a normal part of that would look like a normal part of the forest, wouldn't it?
Except for when it opens up, there's going to be a big old treasure chest just open to the world.
What if Forrest put his treasure chest inside a wooden crate? And the wooden crate is actually buried to where it's ground level, and there's the lid right there. And maybe the blaze is what's on that lid. Now that's going to be covered up, so I guess the blaze on the lid wouldn't work because wind and leaves, like you say, it's going to be covered up. But I could, if you're brave and in the wood, I could see that he put the treasure chest inside something, a crate, a box, some kind of
I know.
covering. I know he says it's exposed to the elements, but maybe just the top is exposed.
That's where I like, and there's the one scrapbook with the Indian girl and the lid. I don't remember which one, and I'm sorry, the room will probably remember. I personally think that there's something to that. I think if I were to guess, and that's why he can't say buried because part of it is, part of it isn't. When
Right.
he left it, it's basically indented into the
Mm-hmm.
ground, and you can see the lid. I think that's why he has said part of that.
And then Rudy sent me something that's interesting. I think he sent it to you too. Rudy B, you guys, he's a searcher. You guys know him. But Tari Scant with Marvel Gaze, he says that scant is a masonry term for cut rock. Now, I never heard that before, that the word scant is a masonry term for cut rock. But if that's the case, Tari Scant, I mean, it could be, in like AGK said on last night's video, they think it's in a cleft or a crevice, that somehow maybe there's a
yeah,
natural cut in a rock and Forrest
I
Fenn
can
has
see that.
placed it in there. So that's
Yeah.
not buried, but it is concealed. I mean, you would have to be
Wait,
looking
now
in there to find it, right?
I like that idea. That's a possibility. That's not how I envision it when I go and pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
When I dream, it's, oh, I see the top and then somehow I'm able to just pop it out. But let's go to what Mindy D said, back to your crate topic. A crate is a man made structure. Oh, she took it down, Mike.
Is
That's
that?
true.
Yeah, that's interesting. So when I think structure, I think big, like a house. But you're right. I guess if I make a little shoebox, that is a structure. So you're right. It blew that out of the water. Well,
Yeah.
thanks.
Mindy
All right,
D is
everybody. Good night.
smart.
That's the show. Good night.
Okay,
So
thick
yeah,
skin.
that's
You
true.
always
That's
tell
true.
me get thicker skin. Get
Right.
thicker skin,
Right.
Mike. Okay, so Joe S says, "How big, tall, wide is the blaze when you look down?" I believe so. I will tell you, Tough Cliff was my first blaze, and my second blaze, which I will be publishing soon, was a large cannon that could not be moved. And so I do think it's significant. I don't know if that's 20 feet by 20 feet or 5,000 feet by 5,000 feet, what that looks like exactly. But it is enough for me that it is significant. It's not necessarily something you can see from Google Earth, but it is something that you cannot move quickly. Like some people have said, I destroyed the blaze at my location. You guys will never find it. I don't believe that that is possible. So if you move some big logs around, that doesn't mean the blaze is now gone. So I think it is something, I'll just say significant, because I am still toying with, I am planning to go boots on the ground, and there is a couple of solves that I'm getting closer and closer to deciding which way am I going this season. And the blaze is a big piece of it. But anyway, Kpro, what makes you see the chest if you're 12 feet from it? William, you have the most brilliant question. Exactly. So there was, and I don't have the exact quote. Somebody can pull it and put it up if they want to. But there is something in relation to, someone asked, "What if you were in 12 feet?" And Forrest said something like, he would be surprised if you couldn't see it or find it if you're within
Yeah,
12 feet.
but I think he said if you knew, if in other words, you're looking for the chest, not just a random passerby. Didn't he say if you're a treasure hunter looking for this, he'd be surprised if you couldn't find it
Oh,
within 12
hell,
feet?
bring it up. Can you bring up Terry Scan? I don't have the dual monitor craziness. Like, oh, wait, maybe I do. Oh, I could do that on my dual screen. terryscan.com. Let's see. I'm looking for it as we speak. Oh, this is like you always say. It was funny because what was it about 6 months ago? People were accusing me of like doing advanced hacking, and I just
Yeah,
thought,
right. IPs
really,
and all that.
like,
Yeah.
do you really think that I have that ability? But that's okay. I thought 12 kids, 12 hours. I put
Well,
in
to
12.
me, okay, you look up the actual quote. But what I think is when Forrest said if somebody's within 12 feet, that I don't remember exactly what he said. I'm paraphrasing. He said something like, if you're within 12 feet, I don't see why you wouldn't find it. But to
Exactly. That's
me,
what I remember.
you have to be a searcher, and to me, you have to see the blaze. If you're within 12 feet, you can see the blaze. And that's what I think the point is. You may not be able to see the treasure chest, but if you're aware of the poem and you're looking for the clues and you're in the right area, you would be able to see the blaze, which would mark where the treasure chest is. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not techie, but I'm a good researcher. Are you ready?
All right.
I have not said that a searcher was closer than 12 feet from the treasure. It is not likely that anyone would get that close and not find it.
Now, is that because you can see it from 12 feet, or is that because the blaze, you would be able to see the blaze within 12 feet? And know for certain what that blaze is.
I am confident Fenn will clarify and give us exact explanations, not in Fenn speak at all, or hey. No, I took it as if you're within 12 feet, you're going to find that bad boy. And it doesn't matter if you're a searcher or not. But you bring up a good point. I've not said that a searcher is because it's not. No. He said it is not likely that anyone would get that close and not find it. Anyone, meaning a squirrel, meaning Mike just going on.
But nobody's going to get that close unless you're a searcher. He just said nobody's going to stumble upon it.
Anyone.
No, but I'm saying what he means means a searcher.
You're doing a Minotaur Marina. You're like Justin. You're
Fenn speak. That's how he talks, I think. That's how he talks.
Copper Dan is in the room, and he would like us to start all over because he just entered. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry, Copper Dan.
So Dusty Mac says he went back on that statement last September when Illinois Ghost asked him to verify it in regards to the 12-foot searcher. And that's the other problem, is Forrest kind of says things, pignon, as Toby would say, that statement, and there's things that he's kind of walked back a little bit. So
well, I think there's two different things. Sometimes, and somebody asked me this, and I posted, I think, on Reddit, and I got blown up, and that's okay. I believe Forrest has had 80 years of what I call storytelling, and if you've ever had to tell a story in a bar with some people that there's no recordings and there's no technicalities, you catch a fish this big and you don't worry that it's actually this big because it's your story.
Right.
I think in the last 8-9 years, he has now had such scrutiny on every word, every pause, everything that I think some of the retractions he's done is because at the time it was the story. Right. And then after the fact, and I will even tell you because of that one audio that I didn't remember it exactly like that, because you don't remember every single little detail until it was like there was 5 conversations and all of it at the end of it was like that. And Cynthia and I talked about there was no intentionality of it. It was just, that's it kind of got mumbled because you don't get every little technicality. Right. Everyone is down to every technicality. And this man is a showman. He is somebody that tells a story and doesn't care if, he made the one comment, when I say it was a rainy day, people go and look up in the almanac back in 1946 if it was, and he's like, I'm telling a story, like, give me a break. And I can see when you have to get tired of, and especially at his age, why do you want to get scrutinized on? He coughs and people like say, oh my gosh, it's it. But the storytelling part, he loves to tell a story. So
there's a little bit of P.T. Barnum in him. That's not a bad thing. I'm just saying he knows how to promote something. That's all.
Right. William, why couldn't he answer Sean Dotson's question? He asked for a second time 4 years later. Which question was that?
And I'm sorry. Question? I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. So I asked the question again, and I'm sorry. I know I'm missing some things. And Donna agrees with me. He is a storyteller. And if you've ever been around him, the videos and he knows how to tell a story. Okay, so I've given 2 of the quotes now. So we've agreed that we think, we meaning Mike and I, not the entire chat room, that 1, it's not buried.
Right.
2, it's hidden or concealed.
In some way. Yep. I agree with
and
that.
it is not in plain sight because of that 12-footer comment. But we're still getting there. I agree with his statements. I think this is why he later went back on the 12-footer statement. He was using literal devices to say, okay, can I be a little edgy right now?
A little edgy. All
That's
right.
me.
K-Pro Edge Alert. Go ahead.
I think that there was some time well before I was in the search that there were some key searchers that he said some things to, and I think the 12-footer comment was one of them. And he may have said some things that later he did retract because maybe it was just fun at the time when he was at the one, I think it was the bookstore, I don't remember where, of, oh my gosh, she would tear up the countryside if I said who was closest. And I think many know that was the Dal and Stephanie, and they were having fun between them. I don't think that said Stephanie is the most close. I know she took it that way and others took it that way. I think he was kind of playing to the audience and having a good time. That's just my opinion. But I just don't think we need to take him as literal on every. Believe me, I have taken him literal, and I have been shown it was silly to do so. He's a showman. He was telling a story. So
did you dip your toe in it? That might not be literal either, right? I mean, he just says these things, I think, to mess with you.
No, because when he says it to me, it's totally different.
Yeah, right,
No, but exactly, that's what people think is if he said something to them, then it's different. I don't think it's different. And so some of these 12-footer comments, or she was the closest, does that mean it's a female?
Right.
I don't think we can take him that literal from the life he has had and the people that have commented about him over the years. I'm sure if we got Jackie O to comment about him, she wouldn't say he was serious and very literal on every word.
Yeah.
He was a showman. He's what we know. And you can't break. The one thing that I know about the few people that I have close relationships with that are that age, if you have a 70-year habit, you're not going to change it in your last 10 years of life, or an 80-year habit. If he is, I call it the 80-15 rule. He tells a great story. And if he gets it mostly right, what's the big deal? I think he's not used to this level of scrutiny. And maybe part of the reason he's like, I don't know. So I wanted to look for William's comment. Did William clarify?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Oh, no, he didn't. Okay.
But Joe S. says, if you see the blaze and you are 500 feet away, do you look down then? Or do you walk the 500 feet to the blaze, touch the blaze, then look down? So, personally, I don't think the blaze is a big thing you can see from 500 feet away. I mean, if it's that big, exactly. In other words, if it's that big, what?
I was just saying you're wrong, but I was hoping you didn't
But
do that.
So let's say the blaze is something that can be seen from 500 feet away. It's got to be big in order to be seen from that far away. Now, how do you look quickly down and find the chest? In other words, how do you pinpoint the chest if it's that big? That's going to be a wide area. You've got
the blaze might be big, but looking down, you got to figure out how to crack the poem, which no one, no matter how many of you say you have, no, you haven't, because you don't have the treasure chest. You might think you have. There is a specific way, I think, to get to a specific location. I believe, this is just me, if you are going to your location and you are going from tree to tree and having to tag different areas and take a ton of time, and if you've been to your search location for hundreds of times, it might not be the wrong location. There's something you're missing. I think it takes you to a more exact location, and I don't know what it is. So I am not hammering anybody. God knows I don't know what I'm doing, because I've had 4 or 5 solves, and I now have 6 or 7 failed searches. So, but I think that people that go like it's an ojo caliente, and I'm going to go and put my little walking stick in every little hidey hole. No, I think it takes us to a more exact location. So, but that's what I feel like I've learned over the years. But that's just my opinion, because everybody's allowed opinions. Mike Cowlazars told me that I am allowed an opinion, like everyone is.
That's why she's on the program, folks. She's got a big opinion.
Okay. Do you want me to give you another quote, or do we have questions from the room before I
Well,
go?
first off, I got to clarify something. Dusty Mac says Cowlazars. Forrest has stated that if you can find the blaze, you can find the chest, and I don't think it can be big. Oh, I got you. I thought he was saying something. I thought he was saying I said that. Yeah, that's true. Forrest. Well, I guess has Forrest ever said if you can find the blaze, you can find the treasure chest? Those exact words. I know he said there's
That's great.
9 clues, and if you
Give me
solve
a
them,
give me a
but
quote, y'all. I don't remember that one, but
oh, that's true. He did say, because I do remember this one. Someone asked him, "How far is the chest from the blaze?" He said something to the effect of, "I didn't take a measurement." I think he said, "I didn't take a radial off the blaze." But if you can find the blaze, the answer will be obvious. That's what he said. If you
yeah,
can
but
find the
radio
blaze, the
radio spun us
answer
all into Crazy Town.
the
We
answer
all
will be
know.
obvious. So that to me means I'm not searching for days after I find the right blaze. It's
Oh, so
obvious.
he used the word
And
obvious.
Jenny
He used the
Kyle's
word.
coded words, I think, alludes to that, doesn't it?
Yes,
And
and that's one
we
of my
will do a
quotes.
show on that another time.
Oh,
Or did we
not
want to?
another time.
Oh,
That's
right
one
now?
of
All
the,
right. Go
well,
ahead.
no, but I still have a couple more quotes. That was going to be my last quote because I think it is, but we can right now.
Okay.
So if you're in the right spot, something you probably haven't thought about should be obvious to you. So let me tee this up. There has been a number of searchers. So those of you that didn't know, Jenny Kyle put out a book about treasure hunts. In the back of the book, she was given a
That book right there.
sentence by Forrest, a quote by Forrest, and then she ciphered it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually am getting the book today.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike and I talked about, because many searchers, a couple have said that they did crack it, many didn't. And Mike and I have gotten a lot of requests on ciphers and codes. I am a novice to them. Mike is more of an expert. He's code breaker Charlie. I am not. So we thought it would be fun to use some of these case studies like that one, some of Jenny's gold medallion hunts, some of the others,
Mm-hmm.
as a way to get better at them. And shout out to AJ Rainville, who is also doing this on puzzles in general. He has a YouTube channel. He just started it tonight, and he had his first one about.
And what's the name of that YouTube channel?
AJ Rainville.
Hey, okay.
Yeah, he is known as my second favorite cow. So he was the one that dressed up in the cow costume
Yeah,
at World
right.
Series of Fenn.
That
And
did not
he's
have
wonderful.
udders, by the way. Right.
So, but here's the thing that becomes important. We were going to do a show on it, and we're still going to do a show on it. But in the meantime, I think it's really important to give credit where credit's due. Fool's Gold posted on Reddit, the forums,
Everywhere.
a bunch of places. Yeah, everywhere. Here is how you crack it, and he gave some high level. And if you're in the right spot, something you probably haven't thought about should be obvious to you.
So, has Jenny ever came out and confirmed that that is the correct answer? I was just wondering.
As far as I know, that was yesterday or day before yesterday, and
right.
the answer is no. She hasn't yet, but literally, it was a day or two ago. She has hunts. She has so much going on.
I mean, that answer sounds right, but I haven't sat down to try and figure it out myself. So I wonder if somebody's playing a little April Fool's joke on everybody.
No, because no, and the only reason I say that is it was posted on all these different places, and we have some very vocal people about. They have been working on this.
Mm-hmm.
They have not come out and said, that's wrong, that's wrong.
That's true.
I believe it's been confirmed. Some people said, oh, I got so far, because he actually said that it was the hint that came out and the 52, and he needed the 52 to know that it was the player's deck.
52 letters, I think. Yeah. But we're going to go over that.
Yeah, and so we'll eventually go over that, but I wanted to give a huge shout out to Fool's Gold. And now I do think it's interesting, and I think there was another hunt that somebody put out the entire solve before anybody could get out there, and somebody else had the solve and was trying to get out there. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of the ethics of that. Should somebody be putting that out or not putting it out? We might get into that later, but right now, the only thing we know, and some people thought I was the person that's solved this. No, Fool's Gold. Here's what he said. Donna Buckhold said, please say it again. Here we go. Quote, if you are in the right spot, something you probably haven't thought about should be obvious to you. And you can go up on
thought about.
And this, if you remember about a year ago, Fenn Treasure Hunter got a quote from Forrest that said, there's one important possibility that nobody is thinking about. Mm-hmm. And then he asked, is it in the poem? And he said, I won't answer that.
He said a deep thinking searcher using logic could think of one important thing. I think something like that. Yeah, I got you.
Something like that. Yes, exactly. I think this kind of hits to that same point. And this
Right.
probably would have been at the same time that Jenny was going to press, at that same time last fall, or maybe at least it kind of aligns time wise. So now we know it's the right spot. Something should be obvious to you. So this is to your point, Mike. Are we talking about, so if you're in an area and you're a random person, maybe you would walk right by something.
Right.
But
I
if
think
you're a
so.
searcher,
Mm-hmm.
you need to pick up on a cue of something in the poem, something
Right.
that's going
The
to make you
blaze.
real.
Yeah. I
I don't
hope
think
the
it's going
blaze
to.
is very
Start
recognizable
focusing
to
on the blaze.
anyone that has read The Thrill of the Chase. That's my hope and wish.
Okay, so what if the blaze is something significant and it's not just looking down? There is something that's going to need to draw you to the exact, that within
That could
12
be.
feet.
Yeah. But when somebody asks him how far is the blaze from the treasure chest, he says, I didn't take a radial, but if you're in the right spot, it'll be obvious. So that tells me the
Radial.
blaze points directly at it.
That's
Somehow. It's
Fenn speak.
obvious.
That's Fenn speak. Radial sends me into orbit. I mean, it says
Okay.
he's saying something without saying something. And what does he say all the time? If people want to assume wrong and go, he lets them. So I think there's more to that comment. What it is, no idea, but I
So,
just like to be the critic.
well, thinking about this, I want our next show to be on what are the 9 clues. Maybe Thursday's show will do that. What are the 9 clues? Because as I look at the poem, which is what I'm looking at, it's just interesting how you go through. How could we incorporate the last 2 stanzas? So yeah, maybe we'll do a show on what are the 9 clues, and me and your opinion, and maybe we do a panel. We'll see. Just,
Okay, so some of you I've been talking about Thursday's show. Obviously, Mike and I don't talk that much about these things.
yeah, we just
We will talk about
we are live, everybody.
Yeah, but some people actually think like maybe like Toby and Shelley, it seems like they're very organized and they talk at the beginning of the week for the whole week. Mike and I haven't done that, obviously.
Nah, we just wing it. Let's get on and have some
We
fun.
wing it. We wing it.
You
So
can depend on coffee. That part is organized, but
I tend to agree with Dirk on the radio comment was about which direction the blaze faces, but he also said it doesn't. It actually could be an elevation. I don't know. I can't get my arms around that one. I think that quote alone could have its own show.
I thought when somebody said which way does the blaze face, that's when he said I didn't take a radial off it. I thought that was that. So we need to look up some of these quotes so we have them right. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let me give you a couple more quotes. I have not said that I buried it, and I don't want to reveal when. Oh, I already did that one. Hold on. Okay. The treasure is out there waiting for. Okay. This is one. It's maybe a tiny little nuance, and blow me out of the water if so. Chat room and Mike. Mike does that just fine. Okay. So here is one that I think that there is a key word that I think might be telling. The treasure is out there waiting for the person who can make all the lines cross in the right direction. I believe that sentence should say, the treasure is out there waiting for the person who can make all the lines cross at the right spot. I said direction, I meant spot. If it's in the right spot, it seems to have different meaning to me.
Well, I would love it if there were, I hate to say this because everybody's going to be like, wrong, but I would love it if there were multiple blazes. In other words, if I'm in a location and I see a blaze there, and a blaze there, I see where they intersect, where the lines cross, and that's where the treasure chest is.
But he said, they asked him in, hold on, because I can't, it came up when.
They said, is the blaze a single object? And he said, in a word, yes, it's a single object. I was just saying, I would love for there to be multiple blazes.
So why are you, no, you would love for it, and I would love for the treasure chest to be found by now. I mean, it's, come on, Mike.
Right. So.
No. Okay, so but what do you think about that? The treasure is out there waiting for the person who can make all the lines cross in the right spot. It should be at the right spot, right? Because you're at that spot.
In the right, I don't know. That's just, I don't know. I don't think it matters if he said in or at.
Okay, William brings up a great point. On Jenny's site, someone asked, I do remember this, I don't have the exact, does the blaze face north, south, east, west? And he said none. That goes to that aerial comment.
I thought he said I didn't take a radial off it. Let me check.
North, hold on, North Carolina.
You'll get it quicker before I will.
Well,
And he said none. I thought he said he didn't check it.
Okay. Which direction does the blaze face? North, south, east, or west? Curious. Foxy. I didn't take a radial off the blaze, Foxy. I'm thinking it may not be any of those directions.
May not be any. Okay, what does radial mean? Of or arranged like rays or the radii of a circle, diverging in lines from a common center. So he didn't actually look at the blaze and go, is it pointing west, east, north, south, right? Relating to a radius. And he said it may not be any of those, right? That's the quote.
It may not be any of those directions. So like Tough Cliff. Tough Cliff is a mountain. It doesn't face any.
What was the quote? What was her question exactly?
What direction does the blaze face? North, south, east, or west?
Right. So if the blaze is a circle, which direction would it face?
Up.
Right. It wouldn't face. There's no point on it. In other words, if the blaze is some kind of a circular thing, circular object, would it be correct in him saying it doesn't? I didn't take a radial. It doesn't face any of those.
Right. That's so like Larry Sandell says. Okay, I'm going to ignore the first part that Cowlazars right, but let's get away from that. The lines cross from multiple points. So it's kind of like the circle. So you could have multiple points along a circle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a vector.
Right. I would hope. I mean, I
wouldn't hope because that's not any of my that would rule out a lot of blazes. How many of you would say your blaze is circular and does not face any direction and is one object?
And then how could it be obvious where the treasure chest is when you find that circle? In other words, you found the blaze.
He did not say that.
Down. What did he say? You just read the quote. What did he say?
No, he did not say. You're taking two different quotes.
Right.
He did not say once you get to the blaze, you will be within 12 feet. He said...
Oh, you're right. He said once you're within 12 feet of the treasure chest, it would be obvious.
Wait, I was right. Wow.
Yeah, you were right. Yeah, that's true.
I just don't think necessarily the blaze is I think you're very close to the end, but I don't necessarily think the rest of the next two stanzas you just throw out. Degrees is a circle and still points. I agree with you.
I'm not saying throw them out. I'm not saying throw them out or ignore them.
No, but if it's right there at the blaze, like you said, why do you need the last two stanzas? That could be its own show.
Right,
why do you need
them? Well, that becomes what are the 9 clues? Is the blaze the 9th clue, or is the 9th clue down in those last two stanzas somewhere? That's what I like to talk about and do a show.
Okay, we will totally do a show. Okay,
we will.
There's one more. I have one more quote, and we're getting close to the end. Wow, that time flew. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is what he said. Someone asked him back in October 6, 2015. I got this off Terry Scant about where would he want to have been buried in his life, even before he came up with this treasure hunt idea. Mm-hmm. He said, "I have no desire to be buried in a box. It's too dark and cold for me and too lasting. Mm-hmm. I would rather go to the silent mountains on a warm, sunny day, sit under a tree where the air is fresh and the smell of nature is all around, and let my body slowly decay into the soil. What can be better than that?" That tells me it's not, well, one, we've already agreed it's not buried, but that tells me that it is, even though it's concealed in some way, it's open to nature, or it's
in the wood. It's in the tree some way. Maybe that tree's leaning against. It's in that tree somehow. Maybe.
In a tree? No, a tree cannot last.
You put a coin in a tree.
Time.
Oh,
I didn't say it could last 1,000 years.
I don't know if Forrest has ever said. He said it may not be found for 1,000 years. That doesn't mean all these clues are going to work in 1,000 years.
What did he say with the six questions recently?
What?
He said all of the something like, and everybody can hit me for the exact quote, but something like all of the location is going to be relatively the same in the future.
I don't know if he said that.
Oh, he said that.
He said people would be surprised at the location. I remember him saying that.
Okay.
But we don't, of course, what does that mean? I mean,
No, but he said something like it was.
He said it would remain untouched. He said it would remain untouched. Yeah. It'll be the same for the ages, something like that. Right.
Yes.
But to me, that's from man-made things. In
If
other
it's in a
words,
tree, but if it's in a tree from a
are
million things could
aren't
happen.
there redwoods that are 1,000 years old? I mean, aren't there trees that have been there
Sure.
forever? Then
Yes.
then wouldn't that be a proper statement if it's in one of those trees
Yeah,
somehow?
and think about if it's sitting in a tree, if there was a forest
Hmm.
fire, is it still sitting in that tree?
But he said it can be affected by forest fires, landslide, whatever. It can happen. If that
You're just
if that
plain.
volcano
You're just
blows in
plain dumb.
Yellowstone, then
Okay.
what? All bets are
Kfro
off.
from Curious Scant, how far is the chest from the blaze? Answer, I didn't take a measurement, but if you can find the blaze, the answer will be obvious.
Right.
Not that
What? What?
is that the same to you? Is the treasure's right there? I
No,
think
there
that's
are
the
two
same.
different things. But if it's
Okay.
obvious, how can it be obvious? If I find the blaze, how can it be obvious where the treasure how far the treasure chest is away from it if I can't see the treasure chest?
I think there's something confirmation wise there. We finally get some confirmation when you go boots on the ground there. There's
Right.
something we have not figured out, like he told Jenny, we haven't thought about, but it's going to make it so obvious. Finally, we get confirmation, which is the most frustrating part about this treasure hunt is we get no confirmation, even though we think we're so confident.
So what if the blaze is a single word carved in a rock? And that single word is 20 feet? I mean, what if the blaze is telling us where to look somehow? They said, is the blaze one single object? So to me, if Forrest Fenn carved something in a rock, that's one single object. He could have wrote a whole paragraph in a rock. And he said in a word, yes, it's one single object. So maybe the blaze contains instructions on how to find the treasure chest. What do you think?
We have
No?
never discussed the blaze, and man, we're on different planets.
Well, I'm just
Well,
thinking,
okay,
how else could you he said it would be obvious. How else could a blaze, whatever the mark, whatever this thing is, be obvious without it being instruction? Somehow it tells us that blaze
because I think
communicates
there's something
information to
there
us
that makes
somehow.
it really obvious, but I don't think he'd like defamed a rock to do it. I don't. I don't know what it is. It
Right,
doesn't
right,
resonate
right.
with me. But here's what William
Okay.
asked: why would telling us how it's hidden give away a clue? I think he may need to confirm the nuances.
Hmm.
Um, the I think he might need to confirm, like I didn't hide it at the time, but now it might have items over. I think because over 10 years, it could have changed over time. So I think that's probably, or even 6 months, or that is the only answer I come up with because you're exactly right. Why doesn't he just want to say buried? Or why can't he just say, I did not bury it initially? But it might
Right,
have something
right.
over the top. I don't know why. I think it's
Yeah.
something legal wise,
Well,
perhaps.
because I think if he says yes, it's buried, he doesn't mean buried like in the dirt. It's buried in a different way. And that's why he said, what's the definition of hidden versus buried versus sepultured? He doesn't want to say it's buried because we're all going to think, oh, go out with a metal detector and it's under the dirt. And it's not, it's buried some other way. So maybe that's why he doesn't want to get into it. I mean, if he said it's buried
I
within a rock
actually
or it's
that
what?
I really like that.
Well,
So
if
it's
he
not
actually,
buried in the dirt or in the
right,
ground, but it could
right.
be buried within another item.
Right, right. Like if you're braving in the wood. Well, if it's in a tree somehow, or if it's in a crevice, you could say it's buried in that crevice. What if it's in a crevice, a natural crevice, but it's all the way in the back to where you're not seeing it if you don't shine a light in there? You could say that's buried. It's just buried under rock. You know what I mean? So I don't think he wanted to
Yeah,
try
but
and
I'm
say the
thinking like
location.
I don't know if, and I don't do this, so don't do this around my house. But you know those little rocks that you turn them around and they have your house key in them?
A fake rock. Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
fake one. What if
right.
there's like a fake rock and that is
That's
considered
possible.
officially,
Yeah,
like by definition, maybe it's buried because it's
10 inch by
within.
10 inch. I mean, it's not inconceivable. Yeah.
Oh,
That, in
yeah.
other
Okay,
words,
I
that
like that.
Forrest concealed it somehow. So he doesn't want to say buried because if he does, we're all going to think it's buried in the ground and we're going to be out there with metal detectors. And when it's finally found and we all go, Forrest, it wasn't buried, you lied. So he doesn't want to cause that problem. So he's going to
Right.
say, I'm not going
And
to say it's
like
buried.
Sassy get 15 lawsuits, which he's already going to have. So he'd get 30
Yeah.
lawsuits because even the sane people would be like,
Well, I
oh,
think that's going to happen anyway, but
I do too. But a lot more of them are going to, I don't know.
yeah.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
we've gone, how did that time fly? Those
It
were my
does
quotes.
fly by, yeah.
Good stuff. I don't know if we've gotten any answers, but at least you've brought up a few things
Discussion
that,
is good.
yeah,
And again,
yeah.
these are all our opinions, everybody.
A hollow log, kick it over. Yep.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I mean,
Oh, and Alan Kay brings a point. If he says it's buried, does all of a sudden
everybody.
when when people start digging,
Yeah.
Scott Conway, I love you, but when you start digging,
Right.
is Forrest now legally responsible when that starts happening? That could be a point too.
Right. Right. He doesn't want people digging holes everywhere, right? Especially in Yellowstone, probably, right, or
Right.
wherever people are looking. Yeah. So I think
Yes.
that's why he did not want to say. Now you could say, well, then why doesn't he say it's not buried? Because the way it's hidden, people are going to go, it was buried. It was either buried in that tree or buried in a rock. He doesn't want people to try and say, you tricked us. So he's not going to say,
Right.
I'm not going to say if it's buried or not. You guys figure it out. And hopefully when it's found, we'll all go, oh, okay, that's how it
Oh,
was
fake
buried.
rock is man-made. Jim Black. God,
Ah, the
keep it
man-made
smart.
structure in your face.
Yeah. Well, both of us.
Yeah,
We both.
right, right.
We're
Let me wipe that
we're a
off.
pair. We're a pair to drive from. Oh, you just stop it, Mister. You're just like getting. You like to zing me a little bit. Okay.
All right.
Uh,
So there is how it's hidden. It's buried,
okay.
but it's not buried. It's not. I think it's hidden, but it's not buried in the traditional sense. So I think if anything,
Yeah, like buried
we got
versus
that.
buried underground. I think Jim Little said it, and you said it.
Mm-hmm.
Buried doesn't necessarily mean buried underground.
Right.
So that I just think it's. I think it's a little bit more. Keep it simple. He doesn't want the liability of people. Yeah. So, but in general, I don't think it's buried.
Right. Not in dirt,
So,
anyway. Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we've come to the portion of our program that if you are only wanting content related to how to solve, not that we've helped in that, but content related, we are now going to get to the part of events and items and all the things that we call the social side and the fun side of the chase. If you are a Debbie Downer, if you are a party
Debbie Downer.
pooper, this is where you should just sign off. And we thank you for being here.
Mm.
But those of you that want to talk just for a couple minutes about what's happening in the community from a social standpoint and things that are happening, Mike, fire away.
All right. So what do we got going on? Let me share my screen real quick so we can
Is
look
this the
at.
big one? Is this the big?
No,
big?
we've got some eBay auctions going on. We're gonna look at those first.
There's a bit. I think a pretty
Yeah.
significant announcement of. Well.
Yeah, and we'll get there. We're gonna get to it. Hang on, everybody.
You always like. Okay.
Let me share if I'm sharing the screen the right way. Okay, so on eBay, and what we do is we like to go up and give eBay auctions, whether they're ours or whether they're other people's. On eBay, it happens to be ours. We put up all 3 books: Thrill the Chase, Too Far to Walk, Once Upon a While, plus the 2019 Forrest Fenn coin,
Mike,
non-numbered.
I'm seeing
Yeah.
something different. I'm seeing your email.
My email.
I'm seeing your email.
Well, that's because you must be looking in the wrong spot. I don't know. I see. I don't know. I see it. It's eBay's up.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 3 books are there for it's $107. That ends in 4 days. Mindy, she put up the cow and the silver coin number 46 out of 50. That ends in 2 days. That's at $140. So that's kind of interesting. Cow collectible and Forrest Fenn collectible. What was there something else? No, I guess that's it. People have their books and they have their different things that are there. San Lazaro. Yeah, so that's eBay. The Las Vegas Meetup. Let's talk about that.
You talk about that. You live in Vegas.
Yeah, so we are going to do a meetup here in Las Vegas, and we're going to do that meetup on Saturday, April 20th. It's a week from this Saturday. What we're going to do is an escape room, because we had so much fun doing an escape room at the World Series of Fenn. We're going to do one at Boulevard Mall on Maryland. They have escape rooms inside the mall now. So anybody that wants to go, yes, RSVP, email me and let me know you're going to be there. 2 p.m. Saturday, April 20th at the escape room at Boulevard Mall. I don't want to go by myself, so I hope I'm not the only one who shows up. We're going to do the escape room. Maybe after that, if enough of us show up, we could go have dinner or we could go have coffee or whatever afterwards. But for a while now, I've been wanting to do a Las Vegas Forrest Fenn searcher meetup like I used to with Vegas Die way back in the day with Vegas Die. We used to meet at Starbucks all the time. So that is
so the last escape room, I think it'd be really interesting for you all to get together and have that. You guys had a theme. It was men versus women. Do you remember who won?
Yeah,
that
the women one. Yeah, I'll help
oh,
you
the
out.
women,
The
the
women
women one.
won that. That's right.
So hopefully you have some women show up, and there's the
Mm-hmm.
like second annual escape room
Mm-hmm.
meetup, and hopefully they keep the streak alive. I think it would be awesome.
So if anybody's out there like, well, I don't know what an escape room is. I've never done an escape room. Escape rooms are just a set of puzzles in a room, and we all solve them together. It's easy. So show up. Even if you don't want to do the escape room, then show up at 3 p.m. and maybe we go do something else. But Las Vegas, Forrest Fenn, Searcher Meetup, April 20th, 2 p.m.
Ooh.
Boulevard Mall. The other thing we got going on is clue number 3. Clue number 3 for the coin hunt is, I'm going to read it right now. Is everybody ready? I know these are kind of vague, but we'll get there. Remember, every Monday and Thursday, we're going to release a clue. So, clue number 3. Rainy days are common, the storms may be vast. Into the river you sail, looking for the past. As you dock your weary ship to search high and low, onward through the land of its treasured picture show. Nearly there, it's down below. So, and again, if nobody finds these things a year from now, we'll give out clues. We'll keep giving out clues until we finally pinpoint it and say it's right here. Somebody go get it. And for this one, you're going to get 2 coins. So that's why it's a little bit harder than ones we've done in the past. Right?
Yes,
Right.
I think it's great. So now we
Okay.
have a couple questions. Jeep
Yeah.
Girl Jody says, "What are those books behind you?" Did you want to answer? We
Oh.
sell books.
Yeah. Oh,
They
yeah. Well, these are all treasure hunting books. These are all treasure hunting books from over the years. These are my personal books, actually. There's the Secrets of San Lazaro right there. Too Far to Walk, Thrill of the Chase, Once Upon a While. But me and Capru do have those for sale as well. So everything that we have for sale is on Cowlazars.com. Just go to shop. There's a shop button, and you'll see. We've got the Too Far to Walk map. We've got all kinds of stuff. But these are all treasure hunting books. So this is my little personal collection of treasure hunting books over the years.
Well, and John Bob is in the room, and he said wedding chapel. I don't know if that means we're all supposed to meet at a wedding
That's a
chapel.
real escape room, John. Ba-doom doom. So yeah, I hope you show up, John. Yeah, now you get it, huh? I hope you show up, John.
Some of us have escaped that room,
Yeah,
and we're
that's
not
right.
going back, baby.
So Boulevard Mall, John. Show up on your motorcycle. I want to watch that. John just
Yeah,
bought
I
a new
saw that
motorcycle.
part.
If anybody didn't know.
That's
So
awesome.
Boots on the
That's
Ground
awesome.
Clothing. They just released another clue for their treasure
Yeah,
hunt,
I
which
saw
I
that.
have no idea how to decipher that one, but I really haven't sat down to look at it yet. And then Function in the Junction, I just have to say, in AGKs, a lot of people are like, are you going? I can't commit right now. I got too many things going on. I hope by May I will be able to let everybody know if I can be there. And I'm going to do my best to be there, but I can't commit to it right now. So June 22nd, I think, is what people are hoping is going to be the junction and the function. And that me and you are going to be there.
Function in the
Junction and my conjunction function. I don't know. Whatever it was. Up in Yellowstone, West
Okay.
Yellowstone.
So
You
if you
explain it.
remember back before the break, Heard Around the World, Cynthia and I and Mike were going to try to do the function in the junction, and I was up for actually organizing it as long as Cynthia and Mike went. We've had a lot of things happen since then. Cynthia is still planning on going at that weekend. I am going to try to make it that weekend, and I have said, if Mike commits, I will organize a function in the junction. So all of a sudden in AGK, when Mike showed up, everyone was like, "Poof, are you going? Poof, are you going?
You gotta go.
Poof, are you going?" You have to remember, he has work, he has kids, he has a life.
Yeah.
And so if all of that comes together, I will tell you, I will follow Mike Howe anywhere. So if he says, yes, I will go, I will organize it. And some people are like, but I've got to make plans and I've got to make airline tickets. You're not going to bully Mike, but Mike.
I will try and make it. If I can be there, I will be there. But I'm not going to know until like beginning of May. So, because yeah, and it's June 22nd, right? January, Saturday, June 22nd. June 22nd is a Saturday.
June 22nd.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody just kind of circle that date on your calendars if you live in that area, or you could make it, and maybe we could all meet up.
Yeah, but we're not confirmed yet, because until Mike says, yeah, I'm going to be there, that's when I will turn it on. And I did say the dream team will be back together. And remember, when I say that, the dream team is Mike and I and Cynthia, because we were kind of the core team that organized Operation Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care who you are, if you think that wasn't a success, you're from another planet. It was awesome because we all had skills that kind of, our strengths were just played off each other in such a positive way. And we would have that Mike's playing hard to get. Come on, Mike. Come up to Yellowstone, Mike. Come
I'm
on,
gonna
Mike.
try and be there. It's just surprise. I just show up.
No, I'm not fully committing, and so
Oh,
until
John. Right. John Bobbitt said, "Is there a map inside the blaze?" Well, that would be interesting. So you get to the blaze, and there's a
there's
whole
the
other
right
treasure
map.
map. That's an interesting
There's the
idea.
right map. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, and we just have one more thing. Anything else before we get to the big thing?
No, I do have one more thing
Yeah, go ahead.
before the big. So there's a contest going on. So I apologize to everyone. O won the last contest, and that dragged on forever because it was a part of my sabbatical. We are starting that back up. So if you remember last year, if you were to name that search season, I would have called it the year of the gut feeling. Everybody referenced the gut feeling. It was amazing how much we relied on the gut feeling. And then the gut feeling went away. But everyone knows, like, if you were to say 3 or 4 years from now, do you remember when Forrest said the year of the gut feeling? So we want to try to name the search season before we know what that's going to be. So if you want to go to Cowlazars' Facebook page or on Thor, there are threads on both. And if you want to throw out an idea of, I put out, and I'm not eligible, but I throw out my ideas anyway, the year of the teeth. There is a theme right now with teeth, and I think it's kind of interesting.
Cavities.
The year of the teeth, or something. The year of, some people say, Jamie Jordan said, the year that Jamie Jordan finds the treasure, and that's adorable. I love it. But you get a silver search coin, one of the non-numbered search coins, and those are going, they're worth something. So it's basically no purchase to buy, and you just get to go and have some fun. And of course, somebody's like, the year of the dumb contest. You're a party pooper, and I know who you are, and you're always a party pooper. And I'm not going to call you out by name, but I called you a party pooper. And so, Debbie Downer, party pooper, you don't have to participate, but you don't have to register on Thor because forums are hard for some people. If you're on Facebook, either place, post, have a good time with it. It's just something that's going to be fun. Once we narrow it down to like 5, we'll get everybody to weigh in, and then we'll give out a coin. And yeah,
this is a free contest to name the upcoming search year. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. What do you think if you were to name it? The year of boom.
Oh, I don't know, but okay. Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
I'm ineligible, right? You're ineligible, but everybody else gets to play.
But I put in like 8 submissions of just fun things.
Okay.
I can't win. It would go to the second place person if somebody really liked my idea. But I do have to say I participate every time, and I've never made it to the finals. So it's just great. So year of the body parts. Good grief. What does that mean? I hope that is. I don't know what that means.
So Ariel Map says, serious question. Who is the official head searcher, lead person, or group on the treasure search? Well, if you ask 8 people, you're going to get 8 different answers. There is no official lead
and
searcher.
7 of them are going to say them.
Yeah, right, exactly. They're going to say it's themselves. I mean, so, how do you answer? That's a very subjective question. What do you mean by head searcher? What does that mean? The person who has the most boots on the ground? The person who thinks they have all 9 clues solved? I mean, it's a very subjective term. So there isn't a head searcher. There isn't a lead person, in my opinion. There's somebody out there that has physically been closest to the treasure, but that person doesn't know who they are. And I don't even know if Forrest knows who they are. He did about that because of that photograph, but since then, could somebody have been there and now he doesn't know? It's possible. So,
well, and I do think it's funny because somebody called me the vet the other day, or a vet, and it was like, gosh, I guess I kind of am a vet because I've been around a few years, but I still don't consider myself a vet. But some people do. Some people are like, this is how you either I have it solved, or let me tell you and give you advice. No one can give us advice except for Forrest because he's the only one that knows where it is.
They can give you advice. It's just realize it's their opinion. Just because me and K-Pro have a YouTube channel doesn't mean we know anything other than anybody else. These are all just opinions. So, yeah. If you're saying who's been around the chase the longest, that might be Cynthia Meacham. I don't know. She's been doing it for a long time. So, but is that the lead searcher?
And I will say, too, there is a lot of public searchers, but there are a ton of private searchers. After my kind of journey this last few months, I am surprised how many people have reached out on the back end and said, this is exactly why, but I've been in the there's a lot of people that just don't come out publicly. And so there's a ton of searchers that probably the lead searcher is one that doesn't need to be kind of in the public limelight. And I think that's awesome.
All right, so let's get to some news. You watch the chat room because I'm going to be somewhere else.
Okay.
So Chris Jones, he's probably in the chat. Chris Jones has decided to make a commemorative Forrest Fenn treasure chest. What does that mean? He is actually going to make a treasure chest out of bronze from a foundry, just like Forrest Fenn did, and he's going to sell these treasure chests. It's not an exact copy of the chest, and he did that on purpose, so it's not an exact copy of the chest. But let me go over a couple things. This is a commemorative treasure chest, okay? So he's going to limit these to 100. If the demand is there, he's going to make 100 of these things. They're individually numbered. I want number 7. The size is 10 inches by 10 and 3/8 inches by 10 and 3/8 inches by 5 and 3/8 inches tall. Very similar to the measurements of the actual treasure chest. They are solid bronze. Okay, they weigh 42 pounds. Now remember, Forrest Fenn's treasure chest weighs 42 or 44 pounds with the gold in it. This treasure chest weighs 42 pounds with nothing in it. He did that on purpose so that people could see how heavy that treasure chest is. In my opinion, that's why he did it. So this chest empty is going to weigh 42 pounds. The poem is inscribed on the bottom of the chest. If you flip this treasure chest up, on the bottom is the Thrill of the Chase poem, which is awesome. We're commemorating the Thrill of the Chase. It has a wood lining. There is a lock and there is a key. And all chests are going to come in a padded velvet lined shipping case. Okay? We don't have a picture of it yet. But on Thursday night's program, we will show the very first picture of the treasure chest so everybody can see what they look like and see how close they are to Forrest Fenn's chest. So it's just kind of a neat thing. I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's not big news. That's, if you're not interested, well, then don't be interested. But to look at a treasure chest that's similar to the one we're looking for, I think is kind of cool. So there is a website, and let me show you guys the website. So you could go to this website to order. What do we got in the chat? Anything fun?
No, orneriness
right.
is going orneriness only.
But I want to be very clear. Me and K-Pro are not involved in the making of these chests. We're not making money on these chests. This is Chris Jones' project.
But we fully support people that actually need to eat and have a mortgage that actually believe in capitalism. We do believe that.
Right. That's why we're talking about it. Because, if anybody out there would make a treasure chest and sell them,
or many of the other, there's lots of items.
There's a lot of things. Right. So here's the website, everybody. It is www.venettis.com/Forrest Fenn Commemorative Treasure Chest. If you just go to www.venettis.com, right here's how you spell it, you will get to this. So the picture's coming soon. Forrest Fenn Commemorative Treasure Chest, The Thrill of the Chase. And you guys can read through this yourself. There's a description, the dimensions, the weight. But the huge thing is going to be to see a picture of it, and we hope that will be on Thursday's program. He's going to change the velvet that's inside depending on the number. So right here, and I believe, now Chris can speak for himself, but I believe you can pre-order a chest if you want to. Email him. Down here, there's a contact. So you can see there's going to be cowhide, there's going to be bronze. Number 11 to 20 is going to have a black velvet. Now I see some of these are grayed out, so I'm assuming that means they've already been sold or they're already reserved, those numbers, because these are going to be a numbered collectible piece. And yeah, created by Chris Jones. To place an order or inquire, just email contact@venettis.com. So tune in Thursday, and hopefully we will show you a picture of the treasure chest.
Well, and a couple of the questions that I think are already getting dabbled at is Forrest okay with this?
Yes, Chris did talk to Forrest and got Forrest Fenn's approval, but I'm going to let I'm going to let Chris speak to that himself.
Here's Forrest. No.
Right. Yeah, he definitely talked to Forrest about the idea. Forrest gave him the approval to do it. And, guys, email Chris. When you email him about the chest, ask him, what did Forrest say? Is this okay? So he says he got Forrest's permission. This is not a replica of the treasure chest, so we want to make sure we're clear. This is to commemorate the Thrill of the Chase. I may not be able to find the real treasure chest, but maybe I can get one that looks like it. And I'm going to put my Forrest Fenn searcher coin in it, and maybe I'll put it with the book, The Thrill of the Chase, and have a chest, and I just think it's a cool idea. So
it might almost be as cool as the chest that I got.
Right, the wooden box.
Do we have a price?
No, we don't have a price. We'll announce that Thursday as well, I think. Okay. So we'll see. More details to come. We just it's been floating around a little bit that, hey, there's some replica chest out there. It's not a replica. It's a bronze chest actually made out of a foundry, just like Forrest Fenn did, I believe, to commemorate the Thrill of the Chase. So that's what it is. Details on Thursday if you would like to buy one.
fun, fun, fun. So very
Yeah.
cool. So
Yeah, I think
okay.
so. We'll see. I want to see what they look like. Yeah, I want to see what they look like. So, I know that he told me he made it a little bit off. In other words, some of the designs on the chest, it's pronounced a little bit more because they didn't want an exact replica. This is a separate treasure chest, but it commemorates the Thrill of the Chase, so it looks similar. So
Can you say the
the
website
website
again,
again.
please?
Yep,
Yeah.
Venettis.com. www.venettis.com. Let me show it one more time. And I know Copper Dan's interested
Yeah.
because
Copper
it's a cool thing
Dan.
to have. So here it is one more time, everybody. Venettis, Vinnettis, www.venettis.com. And if you go to services, they kind of show you their Foundry and they show you the process of how they create not the treasure chest, but how they created some other things. So I
Yeah.
think it's pretty cool.
Well, and Bill Gorman saying that the Finder may not be okay with the replica. That it's not a replica. That's why we're being
Yeah,
very, very
it's not a
clear of
replica.
the wording because I think the wording's important, and Mike is into all that. But that's why it's a
Lost
commemorative.
wax casting. Well, wait. Bill said the finder of the treasure chest might not like a replica out there. Is that what he just
In
said?
in the future, maybe I don't know.
I don't think
Yeah,
the
but that's what.
finder of the actual chest is going to care about whatever else is out there from other people.
Yeah, but if there's some, but do they get like? Would they be able to go to the Detroit Museum and be able to say, "I don't want something similar there"? I don't.
No,
I don't think
no.
they're able to, but I don't know. They
The
may not like it. I just don't know if they can do anything.
if Forrest,
Hypothetically,
yep.
could Copper Dan make a copper one? My
This.
opinion, this is just my opinion.
Mhm.
Before we do ours, anything that we have done, we do get Forrest's approval.
Mhm.
I know that some have said, well, technically you might not have to. You can go against Forrest on this or against Forrest on that. We haven't taken that philosophy. I know that the commemorative chess person, did you say his name?
Chris Jones.
Oh, Chris. Okay.
Yeah,
So
Chris Jones. He's in chat
Chris
right now.
got
If you guys have
okay.
questions, put
So
them in.
Chris got that approval. Do you absolutely have to? Technically and legally, I don't know. I'm sure Joel
Yeah.
Lewicki's in the room and he can answer that. That is just what I think. This is Forrest. When it comes to this is Forrest Hunt, and I think it's important to get
So,
that. But that's just me.
well, Bill Gorman just said the finder may want to market replicas. Well, guess what? You got beat to it. Chris Jones is already doing it. That's how it works.
They may
And
also want T-shirts, and they may also
yeah,
want
a
coins.
coin. Yeah, right. But these ideas have been done.
Or
That's
one
all.
of the boots on the ground backpacks, or a mouse pad, or I mean, there's lots and lots of, and a map, and
William, no, this is not the same guy that made that copy of Indulgence on YouTube. There's somebody that made it, and in my opinion, it wasn't a very good copy. So no, this is a brand new thing. Nobody has seen a picture of what this looks like at all. We'll find out on Thursday. I'm excited to know what it looks like. And again, it's not a replica, guys. It's a treasure chest that's close, but it's going to commemorate the Thrill of the Chase. It has the poem on the bottom, and they're numbered. Okay.
yeah, and we're just
And
announcing we're not affiliated in any way. So when
yeah,
people are saying
don't
now
think.
copyrights and that, I don't know legally. Nope.
The only thing that matters is that Forrest gave his approval. So, I mean, if somebody really wanted to email Forrest and ask him, I guess you could. Are you going to get an answer? I don't know, but you do.
Well,
You guys
I
do what you
know
want.
when he says he's stepping back from the chase, I'm sure these are the kind of emails that he wants to get, and at least
Right.
400 or 500. So I just ask everyone: can everyone? I'm being sarcastic.
Right,
Please,
right.
I mean, come on. It's
But I know
silly.
Chris Jones has spent a lot of time on these. This is not
Yeah, it's
something you
so
whip out in
fun.
a day, and I know they're going to cost a little bit. This is not a, hey, $50, $100. These are going to
42
go for,
pounds.
42 pounds of bronze. Bronze is a metal that has value in itself, and then all the artwork that goes into it to shape it, to mold it, to the patina on it, to like brush it. I don't know what it's going to look like. We're going to find out Thursday, but just don't think this is going to be
Awesome.
$500. I think it's going to cost a lot more than that, but we'll see.
How many does he have? I think you said 100, right? He's not making over 100.
Well, I think he's only making a couple because he wants to see who's going to be interested in buying them. But he will make 100 if the demand is there. But he is going to limit it at 100. This is limited edition. There's only going to be 100. Okay. And again, Chris Jones is the one to answer these questions. Chris, I was going to say, do you want to give an email? There's a contact on the website. You guys email him all the questions you want. If you're interested, let him know. I mean, that's what he wants to gauge the interest. Who would like this treasure chest?
And people can do what they did, like Cal's coins. he sold for $15, and then people resold them for $800 or $900. Could someone do that and buy a few of them? And then, if that's why the limited edition becomes so important.
Of course they can.
They absolutely can. There's nothing illegal about that. So,
could somebody buy one and then make their own treasure hunt and bury it? Sure.
Bury it or hide or
conceal it. Yeah. See, I want to take this treasure chest in the forest and then go, now how can I conceal it? I mean, maybe you could use this treasure chest to try and get ideas. I don't know. I don't know what it looks like yet, but we're all going to find out on Thursday. So tune in Thursday.
That's awesome. Well,
he says there are 6 in production, 6. And I think he may have sold some of those already, but I don't know. Hey, Covert One, how are you? Yeah. So to recap, Forrest Fenn Searcher Meetup, Escape Room, Saturday, April 20th, 2 p.m., Boulevard Mall. All the Las Vegas people, I hope you can show up. Email me if you are going to be there. Hopefully I'm not there by myself.
And I think all of us non-Vegas people should just fly in and Vegas versus non-Vegas people.
That would be cool. Hey, if anybody can be here, come on in.
You can't just have fun if you're
we can make a night out of it. It doesn't just have to be an escape room. It just depends on who shows up. You know what I mean?
Party in Cal Suite.
No, I don't know if we're getting a suite this time, but yeah, that's an idea. What were we drinking? Di Serono on rocks for everybody.
I think everybody was well, and that was the funny part. Is I do have to say AJ was in his chat room and he was saying how an introvert he was, and I do have to say when he was up in the suite, he was kind of quiet until people. And then all of a sudden he started saying some things. We were all looking at him like, wow, that was, I don't even quite remember what it was, but it was profound what he was saying. It was awesome. So are these going to be on eBay? I don't know. I think it's just from the website. So.
Alan K, I don't know. Yeah, Chris left to answer as far as eBay. But Alan K just said, can someone just 3D print 350,000 of these for cheap? I don't think you can 3D print them out of bronze, and that's the difference. This is made out of solid bronze. 42 pounds of solid bronze, 10 inches by 10 inches by 5, roughly. The measurements are on the website. But this is the actual chest. I mean, to me, it's the closest thing we have to the treasure chest that we've seen thus far. So once we see a picture of it, we'll all have a better idea. But I think it's a really cool idea, and props to Chris Jones that made it happen. I'm sure it's not cheap to do this, to go through a foundry, and all that stuff. But yeah. We'll see. Pizza and Captain Morgan's. That's what Covert One said. That's right.
There was pizza ordered. I think, Mike, you ordered the pizza and all the.
Yeah,
I know.
I got pizza.
And you ordered me a salad. You were very sweet. I do remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, I only drank that night. It was not a good night. By morning.
So Thursday, he's going to sell the first one. It sounds like his number 72 out of 100, the first one available. I'm sure he will let you pre-order your number.
When he says starts Thursday, I'm taking that means it's going on eBay on Thursday.
I think eBay is the best way to do it because you want to know what somebody will pay for something like this. So
Right. Yeah. But there should definitely be a reserve with that kind of 42 pounds.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think that's something you put up for $1, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, Chris, I think it's great because there's a lot of people that talk about lots and lots of different things, but people that actually make it happen and do it, I think it's awesome. And especially you got Forrest okay. And so, I mean, that could be something that, I mean, I have to tell you, one of the most favorite things I've gotten other than the Copper Dan art is this chest because I get to put stuff in it. I had fun with it at the World Series of Fenn. I put all the poker chips in it.
You want to show that chest? You want to show it?
Yes. Okay.
And somebody just asked, 42 pounds, the actual treasure chest only weighs 20 pounds. That's right. Chris decided to make the chest that weighs 42 pounds by itself. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a box that, it's got a bunch of coins in it, doesn't it? Okay. All those Forrest Fenn coins are in there?
Well, do you remember when you asked me to do for your thing?
Yeah, look at that. Now, how about a treasure hunt where that's the prize, everybody? We're not saying that's going to be the prize, but wouldn't that be a cool?
No, I don't know if you hear everything.
Yeah, everything falling. I hear
that's the poem.
Yeah, there's the poem.
So,
right.
Yeah, that's going to have to be a different day because my God, it's heavy. Yeah, I have lots of silver dollars now everywhere, all over the town.
But what Chris is doing is a actual bronze representation of Forrest Fenn.
But my point is this, and this is awesome because it is such fine wood, etc. This is probably the most collectible thing, and I have lots of copper coins, lots of silver coins. I have lots and lots of things. I can tell you that the chest has been the absolute, well, of course, because who it came from. But no, it's just so cool in quality, and it sounds like this is going to be super quality. So, I mean, obviously, you have some people interested because they're asking about postage and where to buy and all of that.
Right. So all those questions, go to vanettis.com and there's an email there, and you can ask Chris Jones. I'm sure he's going to be inundated over the next couple days. So tune in Thursday, because we will have a picture of the chest. We will have the price. And if Chris, if you get a bunch of questions, send us the answers. I think it's just easier to put it in a YouTube vlog for everybody. We can answer some of the most commonly asked.
Well, and I know
questions.
A lot of people come here. We have, like, we were up to 160, and we'll have probably 1,000 people that'll watch, but we get 1,500 hits a day on Thor. So I'd like to put all the Q&A also on Thor, and the point.
And if it is an eBay auction, of course, we'll list it. The whole point is just to get the idea out. If you're interested in buying it, great. If you're not, it doesn't affect you in any way whatsoever. So
yeah, that's awesome. Right. That's awesome. Yeah, and there'll be some, but let's just ignore the and there'll be a bunch of positive. And if you send me one, I'll talk about it every time for the next month, Chris.
That's right. If one was to magically show up, wouldn't that be crazy? It'll be right there somewhere.
That's awesome.
But okay.
Just kidding. Yeah. So.
All right, everybody, hit thumbs up on the video. I see we don't have any thumbs down. What's going on? It must be a...
Oh, we will. Someone actually said it on the last one, like, there's not as many. Well, and I do have to say, there was a couple of people that maybe had some issues in the past, and they're like, can we just kind of put that aside and really focus on the hunt this year? And I was like, yes, and unbanning and all of that has happened, and let's just start anew. And I think this search season is going to be awesome. So Holly asked, when is the contest over? I didn't put that.
We didn't even start it yet, right?
No, I think she's talking about the contest on Thor of the name of the year of the blank.
Do you want to do
already up there?
7
it's already
days and end it next Monday, or no?
Probably. I'm going to want to wait a few days.
Oh, okay. So let's say 2 weeks. Let's go 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
I don't want to say exactly the dates. When things start slowing down, once it drops off the front page of Thor, because the front page usually goes every day. Once that slows down a little bit. So maybe another week, and then we'll have enough. Like, I think right now we have about 30 submissions.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, that should get us enough. Well, it's so easy. Just post something that's like fun. Like,
and
you're the team.
Who's the judge? Who's going to decide who wins?
So how we do it in 2 or 3 phases. It depends on how many submissions. So let's say there's 30 submissions. Myself, and I usually pick my son, because he's so into the chase, as long as they're all clean. I don't let him see any of them that are not William. And then I'll have usually 2 to 3 other hunters that are either chase related people that have not submitted, and I ask them to pick their top 3. Out of the 5 of us, I will say who has gotten multiple, like, I'll say, give us your top 3 or 5. Well, out of that, usually there's 3 or 4 that everybody picks, and then those go up. So that's round 1. And then round 2 is we take those top 3, 4, or 5 and put it up on Thor, and we do it as a poll, and we ask everybody to vote for their most favorite. And
so it's a public vote is basically the winner.
Yeah.
Vote. Okay.
And typically speaking, it's a running joke. Thor never can agree on anything, just like our community can never agree.
I'll be the
and
tiebreaker.
There's usually top 2. And if there's like a vote between 10 and 11 or 12 and 13 or 20 and 21, I won't let it go with one, because there are multiple users under one person and all that. So then it will go to like a final round. But if it's like 26-4, it's obvious. So that's usually how we do it, to try to keep it most fair, because people really are saying, oh my gosh, like especially when we give the copper coins out, or I mean, we're talking $500. These contests are multi-$100 for literally 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 20 seconds of throwing something up that could be fun. So anyway.
And Chris Jones just said there are 2 added figures on the lid of his treasure chest to commemorate the chase. So it's not an exact replica, everybody, but it'll be similar. And that's why we're all going to want to see a picture of it. So Thursday should be fun.
Yeah, and I wanted to send out a belated birthday to one of the funniest searchers on the planet. William is in the room. William had to work on his birthday. He had it up on Facebook. He was up on the roof. He's like,
I saw that picture. Yeah,
working hard and not hardly working. He works hard. So wanted to say, everybody say a special happy belated birthday to William. I'm sure you had a great time. And like we always say in the treasure hunting community, pictures or it didn't happen.
And X never marks the spot.
I'm not going there. I'm not
All
going
right,
there. Not with
everybody.
William.
Right. All right, everybody. Tune in Thursday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe. Hit the little bell. Some people get notified. Some people don't. We will see you Thursday. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.